What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Ryan. I am coming at you with a pickups video. It's been a long time since I've actually filmed one of these, seeing that the last couple have been older ones, things I've gotten in the past couple months during the beginning of the garage sale season. Of course, it's been pretty slow, but within the past month, past 3 weeks or so, I have been trying to go out every single weekend, picking up some stuff, and I actually picked up a lot of stuff. So there's a lot to cover here. I really don't even know where to begin, so I'm going to try and make this as easy as possible. We're going to go ahead and start out with stuff that I didn't pick up at garage sales. Shit, I don't even know where to start. At my local pawn shop, I stopped in one day, and I saw this black Wii Motion Plus controller. It's actually in quite good shape, other than it looks like there's some sticker residue on the top there, but that's nothing Goo Gone can't take off. When I noticed this, I asked him if it was for sale or if it was for the Wii that was next to it. But he already had a controller attached to that, so that's why I asked. And he said, "Well, I could sell this to you. Make me an offer." So I asked him $10, only because if I said 5, I have a feeling he was going to shoot something back at me. And $10 for one of these is actually a pretty good deal, and he went and took it, so it is mine. All right, next we're gonna go same day. Or same week, I went to my local game store. I had some store credit, and I've been eyeing this for a long time, but I finally pulled the trigger on it because I really want it, and I heard it was a really good game. So, this is Final Fantasy Tactics for the PS1, and other than this crack down the middle and the random sticker residue here and there, this is actually in really good shape. The disc has one scratch. It's got a couple, but not enough for it to not play. So I've been hearing way too many good things about this game. Whenever I mention Final Fantasy Tactics, everyone says that it's one of the best Final Fantasy games, period. That was not in the actual 1 through 15 series that they have going on. So definitely a good game to pick up, as recommended by many people. Okay, now we're going to move on to something that kind of fell into my lap. My best friend that you've seen in previous videos, Molly, she works at a hospital and actually has regular patients that come through. And this particular patient actually said that she had some Super Nintendo games that her son doesn't play anymore and was willing to get rid of. Now, I paid $50 for this pile, or 50? No, 40. I paid 40 for this pile. So when Molly went to see this friend, she asked about the games, and she pulled out the stack of games and goes, "Well, listen, my friend would really like to buy them." At the time, I only had, I think it was like $29 on me. So I told her to take the $29 and see what she was willing to part with for that. And she told her, she was like, "He only has $29 right now, and I don't really have much cash to throw extra towards it. But he said that he'd be willing to pay more later." She goes, "That's absolutely fine." Gives her the pile for $29, and then later on, we gave her a little more money, equaling it up to $40. For those of you who do math, figure it out. So, for $40, I picked up this nice stack here of dirty games. They were rather dirty, however, there's some quality in here, so I did not mind this whatsoever, and I shall go through them. These have been partially cleaned, and by partially I mean I made sure that the boards were clean, and I went and made sure that they were tested and worked. There are 2 games in this pile that do not work. I will point them out as we go along. But we have a dirty copy of Star Fox. Then we have a non-working copy of Tom and Jerry, but once I get in here, maybe it's something minor and I can just fix it, hopefully, because that's actually a game I do not have for my collection. An extremely dirty copy and ripped label, non-working Top Gear. Kind of happy it was Top Gear and not anything else. Then we have a really beat up copy of Jungle Strike. Probably one of the better looking copies, even though his face is gone. Super Mario World. We have another dirty copy of Donkey Kong Country 2. which honestly these are all dirty. I mean, you can clearly see them. Then the original Donkey Kong Country. This is a bestseller copy. It's all like yellowed and crap. And then the best two games out of the pile. One I did not have for my collection. We'll do the one that I do have, but we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. Unfortunately, there's a big chip out of the back of that, and of course the label's a little dirty, but this actually is not in bad shape. And from my local game store, I picked up a $2.99 game with the same back as this, and I shall be replacing that as soon as I get some tools to do it. And then last but not least, the one that I don't have for my collection, I wish was in the condition of Super Mario World, but I'll take it, Mega Man X. I was super happy to get this. This is one of those games that is on my list that I first made when I said, oh hey, I'm going to start collecting. What are some games that I absolutely have to have for my collection? This one was at the top, probably top 10 I would say, maybe even top 5. This was my bread and butter of my nostalgic years, and it's still good to this day. And you guys know that. It's Mega Man. Okay, so the rest of this stuff is all garage selling stuff. There's quite a bit to get through, so I'm going to try and go as quick as I did with this other stuff. Now, I really wouldn't even know where to start, but we'll start right here. This was a really neat and cool score. I really like this. A guy who buys up storage units around my area, who I've kind of made friends with. He was having a garage sale while I was on my way somewhere, and I happened to pass by, saw a sale in front of his house, and I was like, perfect, he might have some stuff. So I stopped in real quick, and he had, for $8, I got it's a charger for the DS. I believe it's a DS charger. I'm trying to remember with the adapter. Yeah, I believe this is a DS charger. You can tell just by that. But then the thing that made this the best was I got 3 strategy guides. I got a strategy guide for Final Fantasy VIII. I got one for Final Fantasy IX, which was really my go-to nostalgic Final Fantasy game. I've played Final Fantasies before this one, but this was the one that I just got hooked on and just loved. And then, of course, Final Fantasy X, which was another really good one. It was the one I beat right after I beat 9. So, really cool strategy guides, $2 each. Next, at this particular garage sale, this was actually down the street from my work and where my parents live. Basically, at this church, they were having a big sale. They were trying to get rid of some stuff, and they were trying to donate the money to the church. And there was stuff sprawled out everywhere, but I did find one box, probably within the first couple tables, that had some video game related stuff on it. So I went over and I picked these 2 games up. I believe I paid $3 for everything, so it was just $1 a piece for this stuff. But I got this Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelists of the Roses for the PS2. Then I got Sonic and the Black Knight for Wii. And then I thought this was kind of cool and not quite video games, but video game related. This Guinness World Record 2015 book. There's a lot of interesting stuff in here, and I thought it was really cool. I don't see like these world record books outside of like Barnes and Noble and stuff. So to find it just laying around, this is something that I'll be keeping, and it's just really cool to flip through. I remember one night I did go through here and I was looking up all sorts of stuff on like there's Sonic facts and world records and stuff like that, but then there's also world records for like speed runs and all that fun stuff on here. So really cool book. I'm trying to go in order, but it's not really happening very well. This bag right here was all garage selling stuff from one day, but all this stuff came from different sales. So I guess we'll start out. At one sale, I picked up the Fairly Odd Parents Shadow Showdown for the GameCube, and I paid $1 for it. I'm pretty sure it's complete, but this right here doesn't really look like a full-fledged manual for the game. It looks like some weird comic strip that they threw in there. And the disc itself is a little scratched, but For $1, I took a chance. I love my GameCube games, so absolutely excited to add one to the collection. At another sale. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this was all from the same sale. Long time ago, there was a garage sale that I picked up a big box of Nintendo 64 and Wii and maybe a couple GameCube games in it. It's in one of my previous videos. If I can find it, I will link it down below. It was really nice score. I picked it all up for like $55, and I guess I would say the total of everything that was in there was at least 200, and I thought that was a really, really nice score to get. Well, this was a garage sale from that same house, and they still had more game stuff that they had found. Not big in quality, but... or not big in quantity, sorry. But there's some quality stuff here that I'm going to go through. And what I thought was really cool is he had a Game Shark for the 64 laying around. He said it did not work, which is why there was only $1 on it. But I figured I'd take a chance on it. And it came with the VCR tape for the Game Shark Pro. How to hack like a pro. Like, I don't know how to hack. Just kidding. I don't know how to hack. And then it came with an instruction booklet to go with it. Then, he had a PlayStation 1 game. I mainly picked this up because my friend Nate from the Sprite Lovers is looking to complete his PlayStation 1 collection. And this was a game I wasn't sure he had. And after talking to him, he said he did have it. So, this will actually go in my collection. And that is Rocket Power Team Rocket Rescue. And this was complete. And the disc was in decent shape. Actually, there's only like one scratch on it, so better than decent. Then he had a copy of Dragon Ball GT Transformation for the Game Boy Advance. Then he had a Wii Classic controller. I believe this is a Classic controller. It's got the round shape. It's weird because there's like the Wii Classic controller. There's the Pro controller, then there's another different kind of classic controller where there's actually like, it's actually shaped kind of like a GameCube controller instead of like an NES or SNES. But either way, I got that. Save that for last. I found another strategy guide. This is for New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I thought this was really cool. I was certain that they made a guide for this, but this is the official Nintendo guide, where like those Final Fantasy ones were all the they were Best Buy exclusive books made by Brandy Games. And then I would say the cream of the crop of the whole thing was I picked up a purple Game Boy Color, and it does work. I used one of his Game Boy games that he had to test it out. I should have bought the Game Boy games, but I really had no use for them. They were really common titles, and I believe he wanted a couple bucks for them, so I just left them. And I think the best deal with this is it came with this battery cover and batteries, energizers, so can't go wrong there. And if I remember correctly, I paid maybe, I think $17 for everything. I know he had 5 on this and pretty much $1 on everything else, so if I remember correctly, oh no, maybe it was only like $10. I paid $10. Next, we're going to move on to the next weekend's garage sales. I'm pretty sure this is the order that I went in, but I also don't know 100%. So, we're going to start with the first garage sale I hit that day, if I recall correctly. There was a garage sale advertising video games. And they also had a bunch of other stuff that I was interested in, stuff for my dogs and everything. But video game related, there was only some random accessories and whatnot. But they did have a Super Nintendo controller, and they were only asking $2 for it. Other than it being really yellow, it works, and all the buttons feel pretty responsive. There's no stickiness, so no complaints there. Then later on, I went down the street, found another sale with not technically something video game related, but there were some video game things. I thought it was kind of cool. They had they were toys, and this is like a Game Boy Color like toy. It's weird. And it has like little little Game Boy cartridges. It's a Burger King toy, but it has Nintendo's seal of approval on it. These were from back 2000. I thought it was just kind of cool. They had these little toys, and you can just plop the little game cartridges here in this slot, and then as you're, I'm guessing you, I don't really know, but like there, you have a picture of that Snubble. Not gaming related, but I picked up this Peanuts keychain because I really love the Peanuts. That was also a quarter. And then he had these two little handhelds made by Sega. I believe these are McDonald's toys from 2003, and they actually work. I thought that was kind of cool. Let me show you, see if this one works. This one is Knuckles in soccer. It's like Knuckles playing goalie in soccer. And we can shut that off now. Then the other one is a Monkey Ball, also Sega. I thought these were just really cool. Like I said, they both work. And I just thought they were really cool, little neat things. Thought it was just really cool that they work. I mean, back in 2003, I mean, I would have played these as a kid. So next, at this garage sale, it was just a random garage sale I picked up along the way, and I heard no advertisements for it, but there was some electronics, so I went and checked it out. And I happened to pick up a Wii cable, or just a random Wii cable, and I asked them if they had any video game stuff, and they said no, what's out there is what we have. So I'm guessing someone took their Wii but forgot this cable. I can always use a spare. And then this is actually a sound card for your computer. Now, I don't really know how to work sound cards, but it's made by Creative, and it was only like $1. I paid $2, so $1 for this and $1 for the cord. No complaints there. And then last at that week's garage selling, I ended up picking up a PlayStation, an original PlayStation, and I paid $3 for just the PlayStation, and it came with one controller, no cords, but I have cords from my PlayStation 2 that work just fine with it, and it was tested and it works, but whenever I tried to put a game into it, it went right to the CD option menu where you can either do sound testing or you can turn on a CD. Like, I guess the games I put in, it thought it was like a CD. So I gotta figure out how to troubleshoot that. If you actually know something about working on PlayStations, leave comments down below. Give me your opinions, your thoughts on what I can do to fix it. The last of this stuff is stuff from the past week and a half. This one garage sale advertised Super Nintendo games, and I personally could not make the first day's sale, so I had a feeling that the stuff would all be gone before I got there, so I actually had my best friend Molly go over and pick it up. And she spent $32 on these games, pretty much retail, but I'm glad she picked them up because there's a couple games here I'd never heard of that I'm actually excited to throw into my collection. Now, when I say that I paid almost retail, it's because I got only 5 games here for $32, but they're not awful titles. I mean, not by any means. They're just titles there's a couple titles that I'd only heard of through passing, I guess. But this one I thought was interesting, and that is Lester the Unlikely. I have no knowledge of what this game is, but I'm interested to try it out. Battle Clash, that's a game you play with the silent scope, which I actually do not have, both the game or the silent scope. Then we have Pac-Man 2, The New Adventure. These games are all in rather good shape, other than that sticker here. I know when I try to peel that off, the label's going to come with it, so I'm just going to have to leave that. And then these two were the ones that I was most happy for, and he actually had cases on them. This one's called Thunder Spirits, and from the look of it, it looks really cool. It kind of looks like it would be a shooter. So I'm actually really, not a shooter, a shoot 'em up. Shoot 'em up. That's what I think this is. If you know, leave comments down below. Let me know what you think of the game. And then the one I was most excited for, and the one that cost the most, I believe he had like 10 or 15 bucks on this one, and this is the Itchy and Scratchy Show. Now, the guy I talked to, I actually made a friend through because he used to own a game store in a town nearby. and he picks up stuff all the time and he sells it, and he said that he would be calling me first thing if he were to find more stuff. And this game specifically, he says he's run into quite a few times, but I have actually never even seen this game, like, physically. So I think it's just really cool to find a game after all this time. It's been around since '94, but I'd never heard of it till now. And I'm guessing this is probably like a platformer of some sorts, but this should be a fun game to try out. Okay, next I have the last of the sales, but not least, of course. This is all stuff I picked up over this past weekend of garage sailing that I did. And I went out, I basically looked for garage sales that had electronics attached to them, because whenever I go on Craigslist, this is a little tip for you. When you go on Craigslist and you're looking for sales, it's easy to just go to the sales that say that they're advertised video games. But the thing is they're also showing everybody, oh, I have video games, so everybody goes to those sales. So I actually, when I look for sales, I'll look for something that says that they have like electronics and toys and things like that, and I'll go to those sales, and sometimes you just strike gold. So I went to this sale and I actually struck some really good stuff here. I was really excited, and I paid a total of $25 for this little box here of stuff that I got. I got this nice little box here. So we have a PlayStation 2 controller, DualShock. Then we have a loose, manual-less copy of Crash Bandicoot for the PS1. Driver San Francisco for the Wii. And then probably the best game in that bunch is Punch-Out for the Wii, which is one I've been looking for. It's complete, and the disc was in rather good shape. Only a couple dings and scratches here and there. Not dings, just scratches, because dings would actually probably prevent the game from playing. But the cream of the crop of this was, in fact, this red Wii console. Now, it has both of its doors, which is great. It had some sticky residue stuff on it, but I cleaned that up real good, and it works. And there was no special, like, games on the side of it that were downloaded, but that's okay. It came, I think the thing I was more excited for was it came with its matching Wii Motion Plus controller, and it has this little red Wii condom to go with it. And it's a nunchuck, and it came with its cords and even the stand for the Wii. So $25 for all that was really, really good. And then down the street from that sale, I went to another sale, and this person was clearly moving out of their house. It was like, they set out DVDs, and I asked them if they had any video games, and she said, let me go back in and check, the stack of games. And there wasn't really anything special in there, but she told me 50 cents for the games, and the only two I decided to pick up was this NBA Live 08 for the PlayStation 3, and then Dance Dance Revolution Hottest Party 2. All the others I didn't even really feel like it was worth it. It was like Wii Fit stuff, and even if I were to sell it, I couldn't sell it for next to nothing. These I might be able to get store credit at my game store for, though. Alright, that is almost it. I had originally said this was the last stuff, but I did miss a box. I completely forgot about it. This is actually a box I picked up at a garage sale. I asked them if they had video game stuff, and the person immediately recognized me. He was like, you were looking for game stuff last year, weren't you? I said, yeah, I was. So it was funny. He goes, I'm pretty sure I have a Sega Genesis laying around. It's just in a box collecting dust. And I was like, well, if you do know where it is, I'd be happy to look at it and possibly buy it. So, but he peeked in this little corner. It was like under a staircase, and all of a sudden there was a box with a Genesis in it. And he just goes, $5 for the box, take it out of here. And I said, absolutely, you got it, sir. Gave him $5 and took off running. And in this box there was a model. This is a Model 1 Genesis. No, I'm sorry, Model 2. This is a Model 2 Genesis. I tried testing them, but the cords that are in here are not the right cords. But he also had a Model 1 Genesis in here too. So there's actually two, and I have no idea if they work, and I don't even have the proper cords to test them, so I'm going to have to find a way to test them soon. But within this pile, there was also a stack of games, which I'll do later. But there was the one antenna AVN cord here. There's also this random cord that doesn't even go to it, but it's a Sony AC power adapter. And then we have a 3-button Sega Genesis with the cord showing, so who knows if that even works. And then we have another one, except this one looks like it's in a lot better shape. I have no idea what this is. This looks like a third-party, like, adapter for like a Wii or an extender. I have no idea what that cord is. It just happens to be in there. Now, the cream of the crop of all this is obviously the stack of games that are here. Now, there's nothing super special with the exception of maybe one game that I thought, but there's a lot of sports titles here. We got NFL Football 94. We got EA Sports Madden 94, EA Sports NHL 94, PGA Tour Golf 2, Madden 95, Madden 97, finally jumping the years, and then probably the three best here, we have Crackdown, The Jungle Book, and this one is actually probably in the best shape, and I'm really glad, is The Lost Vikings. This game is phenomenal on the Super Nintendo. I know the second one's definitely on the Super Nintendo, but I'm pretty sure they made the first one. It might be on the NES. I don't even know. Leave your comments down below. I'm not 100% sure on that. Well, my game room is a mess now, but that is all the stuff from the past couple months of garage selling or so. And thank you guys for sticking around watching if you've been watching this entire time. This is Ryan signing off saying, even though it is nearly twice as far from the sun as Mercury, Venus is by far the hottest planet. I know it's just a random fact, but it's kind of cool to learn something in this video. If you haven't learned anything from the video game aspect, the more you know. Take care, guys.